Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Annex. I am one of your fabulous hostesses, Luna.
And I'm Terry.
And we are just two quirky educators just navigating through educational news and topics, the fun, the fabulousness, and the foolery of news and entertainment, and just figuring out this adulting stuff. So today, we want to welcome some special guests, and we're welcoming back one of our favorite guests, Elle. Elle is here. Say hi to our friends, Elle.
Hi, everybody.
And joining us for the first time is Pop. Say hi to everybody, Pop.
Hey, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well.
Nice. What a nice man. What a nice man.
Mm.
So how was your week, Terry?
Oh, well.
You're Terry. Hi. Yes, it's been a while, folks. We have not been here for a while. We've had some technical difficulties out here in the Northeast, lots of storms and power outages. So we thank you for your love and support and sticking with us. So Terry.
Well, yeah, I'm the one with the outage because my town is special. And I was out of power for 7 whole days. Finally got in touch with, my home insurance. Give me back my money.
Get your money.
Get all my money. Food. And been all right. Just trying to figure it out. Come back to life. The power outage really kind of threw me off. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, I got engaged.
Oh, there's that.
Yeah. Oh,
Congratulations.
Yeah. That happened during the blackout. Yes, Bae saw the light during the blackout. And he put a ring on it. He liked it, so he put a ring on it.
Yes.
But other than that, just we're not doing scaffolds and memos today, but trying to catch up with the latest shenanigans of school. So that's that. How about you?
A whole lot of chilling. And I have some more to tell about my week, but it'll go into our topics today. So I'll make that connection. But Elle and Pop, how was your week?
My week was pretty good. Another week in COVID lockdown, or pseudo lockdown anyway. But
fakey lockdown.
just thinking more of getting out of the lockdown routines. School is supposedly starting soon, and I know a lot of that is up in the air, but just trying to get myself back into my normal pre-September routines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My week was okay, a lot of chilling as well, but a lot of reading.
Popular.
I've been doing a lot of reading and researching some things that go along with our topic. So I'll be sharing that a little bit later.
Okay, cool. So today, everyone, we're kind of slinging the regular routine to the side. I know you're gonna miss scaffolds and memos.
I'm not.
Earth is ghetto and I'm out and adulting. But today is our very special episode.
Nice.
It is a wellness episode. So today we're just going to go into topics about just overall wellness. So we're going to talk about mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual wellness. Okay, so we're going to start off with physical wellness. Now, this is an area that I struggle with because I'm lazy. And I don't like to move too much. So let's just talk about, what does it mean to be physical well, and what does it mean to each of us maybe to be physically well?
Well, it's funny you talk about not liking to move because sleeping is a part of that.
Oh, so I'm really good. I'm well.
I am an expert. Expert.
I should be a trainer in napping.
Listen,
a nap trainer.
I'm about to start my own strategies and skills.
Say less.
It's on Instagram because this is about to be popping.
I'm the nap queen.
Show you how to nap in a chair, on a couch.
So listen, I I have a question for you guys. Did the napping thing honestly just continue from childhood? And I know it sounds like a crazy question, but it was almost like napping wasn't allowed when I was a kid. Not really a kid, but like old enough to do chores. So it was like,
oh yeah, put you to work.
it is like, go do something, So I just want to, because it was so strange to me when I was in college, and it'd be like 3:00 in the afternoon, and I would go visit friends, and they were in their beds, and it was the most odd thing to me because I didn't grow up like that. So please talk to me about napping.
Well, it's funny that you say that. I didn't. I won't say that napping is something that wasn't allowed to me, past being a baby. It just wasn't something that I did. I was an active kid, so I didn't really care to nap. But it wasn't until I went to college that I actually saw people napping. It was the strangest thing in the world to me. I'm like, you guys are 18, 19, 20-year-olds, and you're sleeping at 2:00 in the afternoon. I didn't understand it. But after my first semester in college, I did understand it. And I, became very, I appreciated naps a lot. I'm sad that I don't get to nap as much as I did back in college, but I think that there is a lot of power in taking naps.
Napping was always encouraged in my home because I was an active child and my parents was not here for it. They're like, she needs a nap. So it was never a fight or a struggle to go to bed or have a nap or whatever. So it really wasn't until maybe my teenage years is when I really started like napping like for real, because I was still super active, but when you're young, you think you're invincible, and sleep. What is this sleep? Sleep is for the weak, So I would catch myself like, "Whoa, wait a minute! I've been going. Let me just take a little rest." So napping became a thing, and like you, my parents did not understand. They encouraged it when I was younger, but when I got older, they were like, "Why are you napping? What are you doing? You don't have nothing to do, so you're going to sleep? Like, what is this?" So yeah, and definitely I agree with the whole college thing. Like, that was napping on another level in college. It was like you didn't even change out of your pajamas. You just you just got out of bed, and maybe you brushed your teeth, and you went to class in your pajamas, went to breakfast in your pajamas, and you went right back in your bed. So that was some new level napping.
Well, I grew up in a church, so I always was napping. Like, I was at Bible class napping, choir rehearsal napping. I was in church napping, in a car ride napping. So then it evolved in college like everyone else. But more so as an adult, I feel like because I'm a commuter, napping became a routine. Like, I would need, like the girls knew, mommy needs 15 to 20 minutes just to lay down. And power naps for me are a real thing. I can get a good 10, 20 minutes and I'm rejuvenated. But, especially in the summertime, I nap all day because that's because we're home. Sometimes when I'm at work during my lunch, I would take a nap. I'm not my best if I'm tired. I'm really just not the best person. So I need those moments where I could just get a shut eye. And sometimes I don't even get into REM sleep. It's just a few moments of me just like closing my eyes a bit, taking some time. But naps are needed for me. I nap even when I don't want to nap. Like, I took a nap watching Harry Potter yesterday. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to watch the movie. I was like napping.
Okay, first of all, just a side note on her napping her movies. This is what she does. She'll be like, yeah, let's make a date. Let's watch a movie. Yeah. Oh, and especially let's watch a scary movie. And she don't even like those. We sit down. Here she go. Done. Movie. The credits have barely come up. I'm like, is she sleeping?
I've napped in the movie theater. Like, it's real.
Don't worry. Don't feel bad.
Yeah.
Yes, but napping is an essential part, as Elle was starting out saying, because napping is when your body rejuvenates, regenerates, it heals while you nap. So it is part of and very important to your physical wellness.
I'm good on that area, in that one.
Yeah.
I regret not doing that more, but I guess I'll just catch up now.
One day.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the other end of the physical wellness part, the opposite of napping. For me personally, I think two things that I have always kept in my mind in terms of being physically fit. Luckily I've always been a physically fit guy. I was just born that way, and I've tried to maintain it. Yeah, hey,
Lucky guy.
Full disclosure, I'm a
Lucky
skinny guy that has always
Sada.
But two things that I've always tried to keep in my mind to maintain that is remaining active and drinking water. I'm going to start with drinking water. To me, that's one of the simplest things that we can do. I know not everybody loves water, but something that's always blown my mind is the earth is made up of about 65-70% water, and your body is made up of the same percentage. To me, that's not a coincidence. So I've always called water the life elixir, and I think drinking water daily can solve a lot of physical problems.
Here's the thing.
Hashtag facts. Thanks.
With water, I like drinking water, but since I've been an educator for a long time, and I have brought this up to my doctor, like I will be in the bathroom every 5 minutes. Like literally, I drank 32 ounces of water, and I pray that I don't have to use a bathroom during this podcast right now. Like I went like 4 times before the podcast because I drank water. I love water, especially water with lemon in it. I don't drink like juice or soda. I drink water and salsa. But when I drink water straight, I have to use the bathroom. Like it's like hard for me, and I don't know how to combat that. Maybe you guys have an idea. Like I don't know. It's the teacher thing.
I have a quick question on that. Do you vary times of drinking water? Like, is there a time when you'll drink lots of water, then you'll stop, and then you'll go back to drinking lots of water, or is this daily, consistently?
I drink water throughout the day, and when I feel like I haven't gotten enough water, I'll try to just drink a big bottle of water to make sure that I'm getting my water in. So,
maybe your body isn't really like in the rhythm of it, like even though that is what you drink, but maybe depending on the quantities, maybe when you up those quantities, like when you did like your 32 ounces or something like that, your body is like, oh, there's a lot of extra water in me, I got to get it out. But if you did 32 ounces every day consistently, then your body would get used to it and say, okay, I don't have to release it so often.
We'll see.
Yeah, maybe you're training, your body into it. But, I know I try to get, I don't even have a specific number. I know that, there are certain numbers of water that you should get in. I just, I'm like you. I don't drink anything else other than water, So even at nighttime, I go to bed with a huge cup of water. And, different times throughout the night, I may just reach for it and drink some water. First thing that I drink in the morning. So I just think it's important to try to get it throughout the day.
No wonder your skin just glows.
Right. Oh, I drink a lot of coffee.
Oh, yeah. That's a problem, though.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I drink 1 cup every day, at least. 1 cup every day, daily. And I try to, now, drink a cup of hot tea and lemon. That's my new thing in the morning. Because I read somewhere that jumpstarts your metabolism.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
So that's been my new thing. But, yeah, water, I don't buy juice. So, when juice comes into the house, my girls are like, juice. Don't let us go to a party and there's soda. Forget it, because, water is really good for you. But then I heard that there's such thing as too much water. Is that a lie?
I have heard that before.
That is a thing. Hypotonemia. It causes your internal organs to flood. So that's when you consume too much too fast.
Yeah. It's just like anything. Having too much of anything is can be harmful. And I don't think anybody should be sitting there trying to drink gallons and gallons and gallons of water.
Not in one sitting.
Yeah,
your body can only handle but so much of anything.
Now, friends, how much do you all know about alkaline water? Because there's that whole conversation of alkaline water versus the world or every other water, really. And, there are people who will swear that alkaline water or, water with lemon or water with lime, key lime is everything, and everything else is just like toxic or it's acidic and it's not good for your body. So does anybody have any good knowledge about that?
The most that I can speak to on that is basically what you alluded to, just, how our body neutralizes things. So, if you're too acidic, that goes towards like certain diseases and things of that nature. So balancing the pH with alkaline water is supposed to help to have less of those types of cells. So that's the most that I know in terms of alkaline water. And
I heard that alkaline water is just water with lemon in it, basically. Is that true?
Well, that's how you change the acidity level of like tap water or whatever water you're drinking. You would get, they would say a key lime or a lemon and add that to your water, and it balances out the pH of the water.
And it tastes good too.
There's that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know I've looked at, different, what are they called? Water ionizers that supposedly should take your tap water and turn it into alkaline water. I mean, there must be something behind it. I mean, those things are like $2,000 and up.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so, I mean, I do believe that there's something behind it. I think that you'll find people who will argue, any position on anything. But I think there is something, valuable behind looking at alkaline water, because acidity isn't good for our bodies, and a lot of things that we do consume are very acidic.
Some of the bottled waters are.
I think it's just about keeping the mucus down.
Right.
If you have mucus in your body, then that once again leads towards disease.
Yeah. So when it comes to physical wellness, and we're talking about, the things that we put into our body, there's always this like debate over, what are the things that are not good for us, the things we should stop eating, what are the things that cause mucus build up in our bodies, are attribute to or allegedly attribute to certain diseases. And so there's always like this kind of red tape tailspin on all these different things, like when you're looking at pescatarianism and veganism and alkaline veganism, vegetarianism, and all these different like lifestyles of eating. And I think that so many people get so much of it from the media, social media, whatever, that it's hard to say, like, even myself, to say like, okay, is this the right path? Is this something I should do? Is this right for me? Because even going to my doctor and asking my doctor may not be well versed in really what's best for me. They're just going to tell me what they know. You know what I mean? So there's that aspect of physical wellness too, about the medical professional that you are seeing, and whether what they're telling you is just more of the same, or it is specific to you, and they see you and value you as a person and as their patient, and they're telling you really what is going to help you and to make you a healthy person.
I went to a nutritionist once, and it was a waste of my $30.
That copay, you want it back?
Yeah, because she basically told me things that you can kind of Google online, and it wasn't, specific to my body. So, I know that there are nutritionists that take your blood and can kind of figure out like what works for you, because what works for you may not work for me as far as eating, so it's just trying to figure it out. We've talked about how many things we've tried together.
It's been a great ride. It's gonna keep on going,
and we're still at it. Like,
we're
okay,
still doing the foolishness.
No.
It's great.
No, it's great. But for me, I can't just like eat healthy. I have to eat healthy and exercise. Where some people can just eat healthy and lose weight. Some people can just exercise and lose weight. I have to do both. And that's what I learned about my body during this quarantine, is that I have to do eating healthy and I have to exercise. That's the only way I will lose weight.
The more you know.
The more I know.
So I had some mind-blowing information presented in regards to this. Let's say you go in a caloric deficit and you're dieting and you're losing all this weight, and at the same time that you're losing weight, you're exercising, so that puts you further into a deficit and the weight is coming off. The weight will come back on. The weight will come back on because your body doesn't want to die. So because your body is seeing that all of this weight is leaving and going away, it starts to just stop working, whatever plan it is that you're doing, and the weight starts to stay on your body to keep your body alive.
Body? You're not gonna die. Like, it's together.
Is that
the body is singing that song from Dreamgirls? And I am telling you.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, is that related to how the body holds water when it's not used to getting water? I read before that when, this is another reason why you should drink water daily, that, your body needs it. It flushes your organs with that. So when your body isn't used to getting water, it tends to hold water and, things from other foods that you do get. I'm not sure if that's related to the same thing.
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely related.
Yeah, especially like when you go into areas where the body feels like it's hot.
Mm-hmm.
Your body's like, oh, this is the desert. You about to die. Let me. So your hands and your feet will swell because it's trying to retain the water and the salt to keep everything in so that you don't go anywhere. Yeah, so your body, it tries its best to protect you. It goes into the avatar state or something, and it just wilds out and tries to protect you. And you're like, no, I'm okay. And it's like, no, you're not.
Yeah, no, it's doing
too
much.
The body's super smart. Super smart.
So you got to kind of trick it.
Right. And then you said that before. I don't know if it was a podcast or during our off-the-cuff conversation, like kind of like shocking your body.
Mm-hmm.
Not like too much, though.
Rebooting it, almost.
Yeah. But then you have to keep it up because as soon as you go back to your regular ways, you just gain it back.
Right. And that's like the purpose of doing like these different, healthy cleanses, is to kind of like reboot your body to think differently and to let it know it's okay, boo. I got you. It's all right. We're going to do this. We're going to make it. And then it's like, all right, well, show me what we about to do. So, when you do reboot your body, you have to really change your lifestyle and change the things that you do to it and give to it.
Yep. Which leads me to intermittent fasting.
My favorite.
So the fasting helps, your organs to rest, and depending on if you do an extended fast, and I won't go into, all the details because that's for another show, but if you go into like extended fasts and such, you can actually start regenerating new cells, like your body just is starting over on a cellular level. So in addition to, knowing what you're putting in your body, you also might want to restrict the amount of times that you are putting food into your body because, we're constantly spiking our insulin anytime you put anything into your mouth that has flavor.
That's so true. And speaking of when you said your body get used to it, because I've been doing intermittent fasting basically this summer, I'm not hungry before 12. Like, it's just normal to me. I remember like the first week, you feel your stomach growling, but now I can go without eating until 12. And naturally, even when I'm not trying, it's just naturally, I'm just not. If I have a cup of tea, then a cup of coffee, I'm good for the whole morning. So
yeah, and there's different types of fasts too, because that would be like a liquid fast, let's say. Then there's the clean fast. I mean, me personally, I don't really like water without lemon in it. So technically, I'm not clean fasting if I put a lemon in the water. That's technically considered a liquid fast. But, according to research, it just makes sense to just do what's going to work for you. So there shouldn't be anyone who, no fasting police who's going to say, oh, you've had coffee, so you're not fasting. And this is breaking a fast, and that is breaking a fast. And although those things do break a fast, it's negligible in terms of insulin. And insulin for me is, the most important, me keeping that low. So it's not necessarily being as clean as possible when it comes to fasting.
Yeah, because what someone told me before I started, like if it's under a certain amount of calories, you're still fasting. So, not to put much in the coffee, maybe 2 tablespoons of an almond milk creamer, and that's still under the calorie intake.
Some people say under 500 calories. It depends on if you're doing alternate day fasting. It depends. There's all different types of fasts. So thankfully, you just find what works for you, and that's that. Some people, people take apple cider vinegar and they say, oh, but that breaks your fast. And once again, like I said, it's negligible in terms of insulin, but technically anything past water, it does break a fast. But how much does it really, really matter when it comes to, whatever your ultimate goal is? Yeah.
Right.
Then that's the part that's most important.
Absolutely. So we're all intermittent fasting, it seems like it. Yeah. Hey, y'all.
Yeah.
Hey, intermittent fasting team.
I'm on 22 hours right now.
Okay. God bless you. Yeah, no, at 16. I mean, I think I probably did like 17 or 18 today, actually.
Nice.
Because I just was like, oh, yeah, maybe I should eat. Yeah. So.
Now I'm giving it up to y'all. We're not all intermittent fasting.
Well, you know what, sir?
I do my 30 days a year and I'm good.
I was like, you got it. You do your 30 days and I'll be celebrating with you at the end. But because that right there is wonderful. I don't know how you do it.
It's not 30 days straight now.
But
so he does what we do.
It's still wonderful because
it is.
Yeah, I'm doing intermittent fasting for 30 days, I guess.
But I mean, I think it's different. I think it is, or I don't know. I want to say it's easier to do it because we're home, but I feel like even if we were at work, I think that we're so busy and we're so active that even in our regular days, we forget to eat. Because, during our lunch and our preps, we're doing 50 million things. We're making phone calls. We're correcting papers. We're meeting with parents. We're meeting with students. We're doing 50 million things, and eating is not always a priority. So I think, it's not difficult if you really, really focus on your goal and what you want to do.
Yeah, and I also think you guys got to give yourself more credit than just, being at work and then being busy, so you forget to eat. Obviously, we work in school, so that is definitely something that happens. But when you come home and you find that you're able to do it, yeah, it's not just that you're busy, it's that, you're training your mind, you're training your body. Whenever I fast every single year, I'll say to Elle, the first day might be a little tricky, but after the first day, once your mind is into it, you don't even think about it. Like I say, it's out of sight, out of mind, And
I think that also when you just have a close-knit community around you that respects what you're doing, that is also helpful. So.
What is that? I can't.
You missed this, haven't you? Okay, well, I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about, we've touched on exercise. And I think that is going to be something that is up to each individual, to find what works for you and what motivates you. Because I know for me, I find it very difficult to find something that keeps me engaged and stimulated because
is there nothing? There's got to be one thing. Is there nothing that you like more than the rest? Okay.
The only thing I really hate is running, and I'm trying to I've downloaded this app called C2K5. So I tried, today was my first day, and it's supposed to train your body to run. So it's like you do your warm up and then you run for 90 seconds, you walk for like 2 minutes, and it does that for 20 minutes, and then you cool down. So it's a 30-minute workout because I want to run. Like, I think it's cool and I feel like effective, but I hate running. Like, I could do Zumba for 2 hours, I could do strength classes, but running, just not. So I'm gonna try. So wish me luck. Tomorrow's day 2.
You can do it.
Can I ask you something? Is there a benefit that you want to get out of running that you feel you're not getting out of anything else? Because here's my question. Here's the only reason I ask that, because, you know, I find that when it comes to fitness, we know what fitness exercise and activities are, you know, the ones that we should strive for. Like, yeah, running is good, so everybody should run. But, you know, in my opinion, if it's something that you don't really enjoy and there's nothing, you know, that you can get the same goals doing other things, I wouldn't kill myself to do it.
No, I need to learn how to run because
the apocalypse is coming.
I need to run.
Here's why. Because you have to enjoy what you're doing. Like with anything, you have to enjoy what you're doing.
As long as there's music.
Exercise is hard. Yeah. Nobody really enjoys it. We understand why we do it, but you know, we don't enjoy killing ourselves. So that's the only reason I asked that question. If there's a benefit that you're getting from running that you feel you can only get from, let's say, long distance running or just sprinting or whatever the type of running that you're doing, then I completely understand it. But if you feel that you can get the, you know, the ends that you're looking for in other activities that you enjoy, personally, I say go for those and try.
No, I enjoy Zumba and dance, but I do want to run. Like, because I hate it, but I want to, if that makes sense. Okay. Like, I want to run. Like, I want to learn how to run. Gotcha. Not only for the apocalypse, because that's just an exercise that I want to be able to do. You know, I'm not trying to bench press and things like those are things I can't do. But like Zumba, dance, aerobics, strength classes, like the circuit training, and running is a goal.
So, okay, so running in and of itself is a goal.
I just want to learn how to run, like for me. Like, it's not. I know I can get the same results doing Zumba daily or doing my Beachbody workouts or going to the gym. But for me, I just really want to learn how to run.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to try this app.
Cool.
It was okay because it like switches. And as long as I have popping music, I'm good with any exercise. Music just makes me go. But my mom lost weight just walking every day. She's older. And she's been adamant to go out and walk for 30 minutes daily. And she's actually lost weight. So Alana, just go walk.
And I was doing that like
you were.
Yeah. And then, you know, it got hot.
You have to go early in the morning.
Well,
or late at night.
Well, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the area I live in, but it is not well lit.
Oh, what about the track?
It's closed.
Oh, see, our track was open. I was able to go today. See,
because that was my intention to go to the track, but I drove past, and it's I think because I think it's open for the local sports, and when it's open for the local sports, they close it to the public.
And gotcha.
So, as a former runner, who would love to get back into running, but I'll figure that out another time. You're on the right track, Terry. Doing a Couch to 5K is definitely a great app for you to use. I will give you a little note of caution. Go get your feet analyzed. Go to a running store. Have them film your gait on a treadmill so that they know exactly how you run, and make sure you're fitted for the proper shoes.
Wow,
and the shoes that you're running in, they also may possibly need to be 1/2 to 1 full size bigger than your actual size, because your feet swell when you run.
What's a running store like?
Literally, there's a store called Run.
Really?
And it's by Foot Locker. Yeah, that's one. There's Jackrabbit Sports. I'll be happy to give you all of this info, you know, offline. and definitely let you know. But Run by Foot Locker, that one's my favorite. Jackrabbit's pretty good too. But they have cameras set up on the treadmills, and you just go into the store and you run in different sneakers, and then they figure it out. Because if you're doing a lot of running in a shoe that is ill-fitting, you can get shin splints, you can get plantar fasciitis, you can lose toenails. So so analyze your foot.
I was today years old when I learned there was a store that is just for running. That's dope. Thank you. So you want to move on?
So I think that wraps up physical. So let's move on to
emotional.
Emotional wellness, I think, is something that is so important, period. But I think right now in the present day, it is such an important aspect because there's so much trauma that is happening, so much trauma that we're all generally aware of that goes on. And as teachers, we know that trauma is prevalent, just interacting with our students and their families. So what say you about emotional wellness?
Energy. Personal energy. I'm learning as an adult, like, it's important to protect because people can change your energy. Like, you ever been in a room and someone walks in and just like the tension walks in with them? So that's something to be cognizant of and like align your chakras. I haven't done that yet. I haven't aligned them yet. That will happen one day. But, just protecting your personal energy and also like learning boundaries, constantly like taking time for yourself and saying no, not feeling like everyone's problem is your problem. Because sometimes we take on the burdens of others and we feel really heavy and you're like, but I'm okay. But because somebody else in your life is going through something, you take it on as your own. And that's just not healthy. So being aware that you're doing that and being able to bring yourself back to a place where you're aligned.
I think something you said was very key, awareness.
Mm-hmm.
And just respect and just reflection, because I think a lot of times we don't allow ourselves to feel things. So it's kind of the opposite. It's like things are happening around us, things are happening to us, and we're just kind of running through whatever it is, whatever that experience is, and we're not really like taking the time to sit with the emotional aspect of how that experience is affecting us and reflecting on it and seeing, well, not so much if our feelings are valid, because your feelings are always valid, but the way in which we react to it, is that how we want to move forward? And if it isn't, how do we want to change that? So, and it goes into all the other things you mentioned about setting boundaries and things of that sort. But I think that just being aware of your feelings and allowing yourself to feel those feelings, and just kind of move through the feelings and understanding why you feel that way. And then maybe, having conversations with whomever you need to about those feelings. So I think that is definitely relevant.
And that goes back to like the naps, because at one time I would come home and it would just be like, Arr! And I had to realize, because you're taking on so much. This is when I was in a classroom in the day from the little children and their parents and your administrators and your other coworkers. You're taking on their energy. So then you will hold it, and then I would come home and it would spill out. And the kids would be like, what did I do? I'm like, so that's why it's important for me that I need time to digress. Because, we hold on to a lot, especially in our field. We deal with a lot. We see a lot. So that's a way of protecting your energy, is just taking that time to digress in your own way. For me, it's naps.
speaking about awareness, that makes me reflect on something. I'm a proud introvert.
Yay!
To all my introverts out there. In terms of thinking about emotional wellness, that's not something that I've thought of much in the past. I know now it's becoming more of a popular thing to think about, and people are being more aware of the need to consider their mental health. Something that I've realized is, as an introvert, in certain situations, I'm used to operating a certain way because that's what I deem necessary for that situation, and I may be fine with that. Something that I'm learning now is being able to understand when a certain way of moving in one situation that may have been necessary in that situation doesn't work in another situation. And I know personally that's something that I've struggled with. But I do think it does start from being aware of what your feelings are in that situation. And, really kind of, looking at yourself, looking how you're moving and seeing, is it making you happy? It all comes back to happiness. Does it make you feel fulfilled? Does it give you that energy, that positive energy that we all need to, make it throughout the day? So I agree, Terry. I think awareness, we all, can benefit from being more aware about.
Can I ask you a question from a male perspective?
Sure.
How do you feel like from your childhood and the way you were raised, did your parents allow you to be in touch with your feelings? Because a lot of times what we do is we'll say, don't cry, you're a boy. Like, boys don't cry. Like, do you feel that affected you, or have you seen it affect like your friends that are males? Because girls are allowed to cry.
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny, I can cry. But boys, I feel, are not allowed, really, in some cases, not all, to be in touch with their feelings.
I don't think it was necessarily a feeling that I couldn't cry, but growing up where I grew up in a pretty rough neighborhood. It was the reasons why you cried. There's certain things that it's okay for you to cry about, but then there's other things that, like, why are you even considering that? That's something that you should be, past. You shouldn't even be delving that, that deeply into it. And I think that has more of an effect on me than anything, feeling like there's certain things that I shouldn't think too deeply about. It should be something that, I guess is treated as superficial. A lot of those things are emotional things. And I think a lot of guys do, have that type of experience where emotions are something that we, tend to reflect on too much, or certain emotions, I should say, that we tend to focus on too much. In terms of emotions, I'm Senegalese, my family is African. I remember, when I was, I'm gonna say 17, 18, I had I was driving with my mom over to 138th Street in the Bronx, and we had gotten into a certain argument about something. It was just a disagreement. It wasn't even really an argument. And it was the first time that I actually felt comfortable letting my mother know that I didn't agree with her and that I was angry about, I forget the exact topic, but, I had never done that before, just being West African, out of respect, you don't express your anger towards your parents. And I remember it was the first time that I did say to her, like, no, I'm a person, I have feelings, I have emotions. And if I'm going to be angry, I'm going to express that. Unless if you want me to just hold everything inside, which is what I struggled with as a kid. So I think it was the first time that I, felt the need to really express an emotion of mine, to my mother, and kind of not feel bad about it. Just be like, this is what it is. And my mother respected it, and that, little argument kind of changed our relationship a lot.
I think that's what Caribbeans too. Like, I feel we weren't really allowed to express how we felt towards our parents. Like, growing up. Even now, I kind of struggle. Like, if I feel angry with my mom, I feel bad. Like, I can't be mad at her. That's true. Very true. Nice.
Yes, it kind of comes from that, in Black households, the idea of, oh, you're upset, I'll give you something to be upset about.
Right.
I'm like, oh my gosh, that was a trigger. I was like, oh no.
That's true.
Yeah, but at some point it did hit me like, hold on, what are you talking about? I can't be upset. Like, what are you talking about? It didn't make sense to me.
Very nice.
Yeah, I think that, and I think that's the key, just being allowed to just express yourself and express your emotion, express why you're feeling that way, so that everyone is clear, like, hey, I'm angry about this, I'm happy about this, I'm sad about this for this reason.
Yeah.
And, you know, it just allows, you know, dialogue to happen, because I think, like, what we're all kind of saying here is like, there was no dialogue about your feelings. What feelings? You don't have feelings.
Yeah.
you you know, yeah, you didn't have, you couldn't feel anyway, you just got here, you know. What do you mean your feelings, you know? So
Okay.
I think that, you know, and I think we all work towards doing that, you know, in our careers, like just making sure that the people around us feel validated in their feelings. But it's all about, okay, what comes after that? What comes next? You know, what is your reaction to that? What is the next steps for you? And kind of some of the things that you said, Pop, about, you know, does this make you feel happy? Does this make you feel fulfilled? If it doesn't, then what are your next steps, you know, connected to this experience?
And as a mom, I'm trying to break that cycle. Like at first I was just like my mom. Like you don't say nothing. You're a child. But as the girls are growing, I'm trying to be more cognizant of their feelings and allowing them to express themselves. Though I may disagree most of the time, but just giving them that space, because it's very important to kind of break that cycle of, you know, that.
You know,
I'm sorry. That makes me think about an affirmation. I accept my emotions and let them serve their purpose. And I've been trying to, you know, do that with my daughter, because, you know, she's only 19 months. So, you know, she is communicative, but, you know, right now she has lots of frustration that she lets out if we're not understanding, you know, exactly what her needs are, or that she's upset about something. And, you know, she tries to hit and things of that nature. And sometimes I let her hit things. I don't let her hit me, but I let her hit things. And then when, you know, when she's had like a moment, I kind of keep it a little bit brief to get that all out. I just give her a hug, or I should say we just give her a hug, because we want her to know that it's okay that she's feeling what she's feeling, and that she has this outlet to get it out. But on the same token, we're going to show her love. We still love you, and know that there is love, and you can come back from that.
Right. Oh, I love that. I love that. That touched me. Yes.
I think one thing that's wonderful about being a teacher, I guess from my perspective, is working with children for so long. And even before I began teaching, I worked with children on a recreational level. I learned that adults, we don't change that much from children, you know. So I found that I understand adults a lot more the more I spend time around children. And, you know, kind of building on what Lauren said, I think adults, unfortunately, we have language. You know, we have language and we can communicate. And sometimes that language allows us to not be honest about our emotions. You know, Noah, she's honest about her emotions all the time. You know, she can't really communicate them, so her body communicates it for her. You know, her screams communicate it for her, but she's being genuine, you know, in her emotions. And I think that as adults, that's something that we do have to try to work towards.
Yes. I agree that, you know, children, they're kind of like raw.
Yeah.
You know, with their emotions. They're like, oh, I feel like this, and everybody needs to know. And I think as we got older, you know, and social norms kicked in, you know, we're like, oh, well, I can't really just, you know, throw this block across the room because I'm upset. You know, I got to kind of like reel it in and, you know, excuse myself and, or find an outlet, you know, to express myself. And I think that's key too, to find outlets, because a lot of people, even adults, are children who, some adults are children who grew up without an outlet, and they're still functioning in the same way. They're very raw, you know, and some people are like, oh, they're just real. No. You know, yes, they are real, but at the same time, you want the way in which you express your emotions to be safe for you and for everyone else, whether it's physically safe, emotionally safe, psychologically safe. You know, you want that. And some people have not learned how to channel that energy. So I think that's definitely an aspect where I think a lot of young people struggle with finding, and even their, you know, educators and their parents in their community, you know, struggle with taking the time to find ways for them to channel that energy positively or express it positively. So that's why you see so much of these circles being used in school. The what do you call those circles? I should know because I got the training. What are they called?
The 4R circles.
Yeah, but I forget
The
the
restorative circles.
Restorative circles. Thank you. I'm like, what is the word?
Okay.
Yeah, so those restorative circles have become like this new like platform for everyone to kind of express themselves. If they're done well, then they work. But the problem is, you know, finding the right way in which to implement them effectively.
No, just something random, but you know, just talking about, you know, this need to express emotions. There's an Asian product that I saw online. I was doing some online shopping, and I'm not sure exactly what country it was from, but it literally is a silicone like bottle bag that they sell just for screaming in. Literally, that's the purpose of it. Like literally, when you are stressed, when you are frustrated, literally to take it and scream in it. You know, and you know, as I said, as adults, you know, sometimes, you know, because we try to act mature, we try to act sophisticated or whatever, certain basic things that come down to a basic human level, we shun it, you know. Sometimes we need to scream. Children know this. Children know this and they exercise this well. You know, so when I first saw it, I was like, it's something that reminded me like, wow, even as an adult, there's certain behaviors that maybe they don't change as much as we think that they do change.
Right.
What are some of you guys, your outlets? Like for me, if I'm frustrated, music or sleep for me. What are some of the things that you practice, you know, when you want to bring yourself back from frustration or anger as adults now?
It could be whatever I honestly know would take my mind off the frustration. I'm not a person who acts like I can deal with something that frustrates me head on immediately. Sometimes I just need to get it off my mind. And whether that is exercising, weight training, or playing video games or writing, whatever will take my mind off of it, that's what I'll do first, because I have to get my mind to a safe space before I can, you know, address whatever frustrated me.
I love music like you, Terry. I could listen to music all day long. I go to sleep listening to music sometimes and wake up in the middle of the night and listen to more. So, you know, music is definitely an outlet for me. Music, dancing, you know, those things help me to just literally forget. Like, and I might not do it directly connected to a negative experience, but I know that I completely just forget everything when I'm listening to music. And I love to exercise too. So that's something that I try to make the time to do most days of the week. And sometimes just literally just taking a breath, just closing your eyes and just breathing, and maybe getting outside, because sometimes if you're having an issue and you're inside, you feel closed in. So maybe just, if it's, you know, daytime, literally getting some sun, or, you know, if it's at night, you know, safely, if you need to, you know, just get outside and literally look up at the stars. That's helpful too. I have my favorite stars, so I'll look at my stars sometimes.
And I would suggest getting a lovely pet. Humans are annoying. Pets don't.
Chloe! Yes.
Pets don't talk; they just listen.
And they feel your emotion. When I'm like
But
not in a
empaths,
good mood, Chloe's on top of me. Like she can tell like if I'm not right. It's so cool.
a lot of pets
Yeah.
are empaths. They definitely are.
Yeah. I agree with you guys. I definitely music is my go-to. Um, so I'm always playing music. I was literally playing music right before this podcast started. Um, that's my go-to. I talk to myself because that's the best person to have conversations with.
You answer yourself?
Yes. What you mean?
It used to not be okay, but I think it's okay
It's
now.
only
Yeah, like I'm all right with talking to myself. Like call it what you want. I'm a pretty sane person because I talk to myself. Because I have talked myself down from some stuff. So, I talk to myself or your guardian angel, whomever the creator, whoever it is that you need to say that you're talking to, but I talk. And I talk it out like, Alana, what is going on right now? Why are you so upset? What is going on? Well, I'm upset because
that's how it goes.
I have to a whole conversation with myself. Because
you don't use multiple names though, right?
I mean, I do have an alter ego, Zenobia. You might have met her a few times. She a little, but yes, my actually a former coworker named her because she said because you could go from A to Z, and so she was like, her name, over there, her name is Zenobia.
Zenobia.
Don't let her come out.
I like that.
That's cute.
So Zenobia and I have conversation. Like Beyonce has Sasha Fierce, I have Zenobia.
Okay.
Zenobia, sometimes she comes out and, it takes a lot for her to come out. So when she comes out, Alana has to talk to her and she's like, listen, talk to me. What happened? And then I kind of like talk through what happened and how I'm feeling. And then I start to feel like, and it may not even be, the other person may not feel anything. Like perfect example, like this weekend, my dear friend Terry wanted me to watch her Chloe. And I couldn't do it because I just felt, first of all, I can't do, I get anxiety when there's like last minute changes and things like that. And so she was like, oh, well, you could just do this. And then you could do this. And then you could do this. And I was just like, what? No, I can't do that. I can't do that. And so then after I told her I couldn't do it, I started feeling like, oh my God, I'm a horrible person. I couldn't do this for her. And she's probably like, oh, F that B. And I'm like, I'm creating this whole scenario. Zenobia's creating this whole scenario.
Tell Zenobia it
wasn't
so
I said, hey, girl. I was like, girl, what's going on? Talk to me about it. So then I started talking to myself and I was like, you know what? It's all right. And I think she'll be okay. And so like I do that. I talk myself through things because, I know that I can be emotional and over emotional. And even though some people were like, really, you, whatever, it's because I am very emotional. I reel everything in.
I heard that's your sign though.
That's part of my sign. And I reel everything in and I think it 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 and I overthink it and overthink until I get it to where I feel like, okay, I'm stable again. So, that's, music, talking to Zenobia, and even, if I can't work it out with Zenobia, because sometimes she a little difficult, I turn to a friend. Many a time, Ella and I have been text messaging and on the phone. Terry and I have been text messaging and on the phone working through a problem, So those are the things that, I do when I am frustrated. And I write as well if that's
journaling is good. Yeah.
Especially, I connect with Pop said, like whatever it is that works for that particular situation, because it could be writing, it could be singing at the top of my having my own karaoke session or car karaoke as I like to have. So it could be anything, but those are my go-tos: music, talking with Zenobia, talking with a level-headed friend.
So wait, funny is, guess who watched Chloe?
Who?
My mother. It was so funny because my mother can't stand dogs. She's from the island. Dogs are for outside.
Outside.
Yes.
And listen, I was angry with myself because between the blackout, the engagement, and work, everything that was going on, we were going away on a family vacation, and I forgot about Chloe. I'm like, oh my gosh, who's gonna watch Chloe? Friday, we were leaving Saturday, so I'm texting everybody, and I text my mother with my eyes closed, like I'm just gonna try, and she did it. So I wasn't thinking about you, girl. Don't worry, I love you. But yeah, my mom watched her, and my mom actually enjoyed having Chloe, but she still won't let me get her a dog
because she doesn't want to have to do it,
right? So that was cool. Yeah.
If you're ever in a pinch, we're here.
Oh yes, because you have pets.
We have 4 of them.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, thank you.
we can go and hang out with her friends, her cousins over there.
No, I totally forgot about Chloe. I was so angry with myself.
So we want to just take a moment and pause and thank Pop for joining us today. And you're always welcome because you are now officially a part of the Annex fam. So welcome, Pop.
Why, thank you. It was wonderful. Thank you for having me. I look forward to being on again.
Okay. Yay.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Pop.
Hi, listeners. Drink water, everyone. Remember.
Yes, I learned to spread out my water intake. Thank you so much. So now let's get into the spiritual.
So now that the man is gone, let's really talk about what we want to talk. Let's go back.
Oh my gosh, you guys are so funny.
Cool. I just want to share something, and I think this is going to go into emotional and spiritual, if we can go into that. Now, you guys know I'm like magical and witchy and things like that. So I actually had a friend of mine do a reading for me yesterday. And I'm not like one to jump to readings because I don't want everybody getting in touch with me that way. But this person I trust. So I had a friend do a reading for me last night. And it was like she did everything. Like she did all the areas. And when I say she was so accurate, it was so scary. Like there was a point where I cried because she was so on point with what, for the particular thing she was talking about, she was so on point with what I wanted and what I knew for myself. And she just like reaffirmed it. And I just started crying and she was like, oh, and it was just like, it was a lot. So it was just like, okay. So it was like, all right. So it just made me realize even more that I'm doing the things that I need to be doing. Because, sometimes you get to those points in your week, in your month, in your year, where you're just like, what the F am I doing? And you want to like refocus yourself and, look at what you're doing, what your goals are, what you want to do in the next few weeks, what you want to do in the next few months, what you want to do in the next few years, and it was just like, it was just so like, I felt like I exhaled.
Wow.
And she was happy. I was happy. And I was just like, this is crazy. Like I literally couldn't go to sleep afterwards because I was just thinking about like how on point it was. And I just found it that I feel like things like that are just so interesting. Like how people are able to like just genuinely connect in that way. Now, do I think everybody can do that? No. But I mean, I just think that is so interesting. Like just those kind of connections, like, especially if you go to someone who doesn't even know you and they're able to see those things. I just think that's very, I don't know. I don't even know the appropriate word for it.
I'm going to have a transparent moment.
Yeah.
So I've always wanted to do that. But as you know,
Super Christian.
And though I am not in the church or like I follow that religiosity the way I used to, it's still something that's hard for me. I'm still like struggling with transitioning to be able to do that because I read the book about the 7 Orshas. You know, I've been reading on the things that we've talked about, and I'm very like rebel. I don't follow the doctrine at all, clearly. However, that's for me, like I'm so excited for you because I'm like, oh, you know, that helps me change my thinking. Yeah, if I'm trying to still rewire years and years of like.
And I think part of that is that you are thinking of it in terms of it being 2 separate entities when it's really not.
Right.
I mean, I'm not going to get super like doctrine and all of that, but it's like looking at, because really what you're looking at is your connection to what's around you, to the spiritual world, to the natural world, to, you know, just your community. All those things are connected. So the way in which you name these things or the way in which you approach these things are going to be based upon the way that you move, not the way that someone else wants you to move. So I think that's the only thing that separates these things, is that you get to decide rather than someone deciding for you and saying, this is what you must do, you know? And that's where it separates, because there's no difference in terms of the belief, because you still believe in the same things. It does not mean that you have to stop believing in whatever it is that you believe. Your perspective on certain things might shift, which you're allowed, but it's on your terms and not on someone else's.
Well, I'm super happy for you.
So yeah,
I kind of want the deets off podcast. You know, I'm gonna ask him mad questions. Tell me later.
I just want to know.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that we had a show where we kind of went into spirituality a bit already, where we just talked about L's affirmations. First of all, can we just have a moment of silence for your lips, honey? I have been looking at your lips, girl. L, yes, you. Red.
She's like, what? Me?
I just had to say something because
her red lip is always popping. Like that is her color.
Yes. So your lips are popping. Anywho, I stage trapped.
Appreciate you.
The affirmations and meditation, or just sitting in silence. Yoga, I heard, is really good.
I did Bikram for some time, and you know, you might get a little bit nervous because you hear how hot the room is going to be. Oh, it's 120 degrees. You can't talk, etc., etc. But I understand why they set the rules for you, and you yourself need to basically set your intention prior to going into a situation like that. But it's like when Luna was mentioning cleanses. That's a whole other cleansing aspect there. And now I have such an appreciation for saunas and, you know, just heat therapy. You know, it's so cleansing, and you have to eat a certain way and drink a certain way in order to do Bikram and not feel, you know, any ill side effects anyway. So it makes you want to eat cleaner. It makes you want to drink all the water and have, you know, fruits, and you know, it just makes you want to do better for yourself. So I highly recommend Bikram because, you know, it detoxifies, gets everything out, and you're quiet. Have you ever been to like a workout and everybody knows everybody, so they're talking throughout the workout? And I'm not saying I discourage that, but you know, you have a moment of stillness with yoga when practicing yoga, and it lets you go into your own mind and focus on you, and that's what your workout should be. Should be a focused time for you.
Mm-hmm.
Have you done it now during like COVID? Is it open?
No, I haven't. I haven't done a lot of things.
Because I have one right down the street from me. I never went into it.
It's amazing and so worth the experience. Just drink tons of water before, just be hydrated, and you don't want to have too much food in your system. So, those two things, and then just slowly reintroduce food after. Maybe start off with some fruit or something like that.
I find it really interesting that you said like steam and hot water, because at the beginning of COVID, when I was dealing with the initial anxiety of the situation, like it was real. Like I stated before, I had to go to the doctor and get a prescription. I haven't taken any, thank God. But what I found is when I felt anxious and I was having those attacks, a hot shower would calm me down. And I really find that interesting that you stated that, because that's where I have my best prayers, is in the shower. Like that's when I'm my most spiritually focused. Like I'll try to pray here, but it doesn't work. Like I get distracted. But when I'm in the shower, especially early in the morning and it's really hot, I really connect, with the Lord, and I'm able to just get what I need to say out, my petitions or whatever. So I find that interesting that you said that.
Awesome.
And I love a sauna.
Yes, we know.
So I'm very sad that I have not been in, like, I don't know, since last year. So I love going to the Korean sauna in where is it?
New Jersey.
Jersey.
And it's just such a great experience, and it's everyone is very like calm, and there's children there, and you wouldn't even know they were there because they're not like typical like kids with energy running around and whatever. Everyone's walking, everyone's calm, people are playing chess, people are sitting, people are conversing quietly. You sit in the different types of saunas made with the different materials, and you just sit. I even sometimes see people doing yoga poses inside of the saunas if it's big enough. There's certain ones where you will see signs that say please remain quiet or what have you. And it's just such a great experience, and I love doing it. I know I brought Terry along one time with me, and I know we've been to a different saunas together, Elle. And it's just so like when you first go, you're like anxious because you're like, you have all your hang-ups about your body, and
there's a lot of body parts out.
Yeah, there's a lot of body parts that aren't belonging to you out, and you have like this reservation, but then after a while you're like, but we're all the same. And that's the great, that's what we need in the world. More saunas. That is the great equalizer. Saunas. Because everybody's like, oh, we all got the same stuff. And we all sitting in here together. We sitting here in this hot tub.
Together.
Same stuff.
It's not photoshopped. It's not perfectly angled for the gram.
Right. So then you're just kind of like exhaling. You're just like, all right. And you just chill out, and you eat your shaved ice and your dumplings and your whatever else, and you really just chill out, and you just like take care of yourself. And I have to say, like, after I leave the sauna, even though I have to drive home over the bridge, I get home and I am just like so relaxed.
Yes.
And I
That's
really wish.
One thing I don't like is that you're
driving home.
Max that you have to leave and go home and drive.
I know you have to drive
that's
home.
The one thing I can't.
Yeah.
That's the one. Like if I was to say one thing I didn't like about it is the drive back. But I do feel like we've never really followed through. But I do think that every educator or profession or mom should have one, or dad, one day at a spa. Like it should be a law.
It should be in our health benefits.
Yeah.
It really
because
should.
It's so needed. It is so needed. And unfortunately, because we're so busy, we are not taking time to take care of ourselves, like getting massages and facials and stuff. So one of the things we have mentioned before, Elle, I think you mentioned having routines, and having a routine for your physical, having a routine for your emotional, or and having a routine for your spiritual. And I'm still working on that. I'm not even going to like sit here and act like I'm perfect in that area. I'm still developing like concrete routines in each area, you know. So it's just so important to know yourself, know your body, know your emotions, know your spirit.
Yes.
Praise him. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And I think, the key, and just moving into, I guess, psychological, is reflection is key in all of these areas. And they all kind of like, intersect, with the same kind of things that you were just mentioning, Terry and Elle. Like you build somewhat of, even if it's not a routine per se, you do build of kind of like a list of things to do that aren't necessarily like go-tos. So it may not be a routine in terms of, the word routine, where this is something I always do. But it's just, you have like options of what you can do that is helpful. And then always reflecting, so you rediscover new things that may be options for you, because what those top 3 things may not work, in every situation, or in a new situation that you have never come across before. So reflection, I think, is really, really key in all of these. Just, doing a check or doing a self-check, for yourself.
And check on your friends.
Yeah.
Please check on your
strong friends, especially your strong friends.
Oh yeah. I think this quarantine too has provided us with an opportunity to slow down. And I pray that when, we're out of quarantine and back to normal, whatever normal may be, I pray that we still take the time to slow down and be present and take the time to do that reflection, because, that has been so key to just surviving this, taking time to say, okay, what aspects of life can I improve upon? And being that I have all this time, I'm not going anywhere, not doing anything, let me start working on some of those things. So hopefully we'll still take that time even after this is over.
Mm-hmm. Yay. Agreed. Yeah. And, and I think that what Terry just mentioned too, checking in on each other, and I know we do that, but, just making sure, everybody, that you just check in on your circle of friends and your community, because you never know. Sometimes you reach out and you're like, that person might be like, oh my God, thank God you reached out to me, because listen, I'm doing this, I'm going through this, whatever. Because sometimes, and I know for myself, there's things I struggle through, or things that frustrate me, and I'm like, I'm not bothering anybody with my nonsense. I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna figure it out, So you might have friends that are like that, or going through that, and they do need another perspective to put everything in perspective for themselves. So check on your friends.
Hey, I think that's it, right?
Yeah. Any other last words for the listeners before we sign out for the episode?
Catch up on all the other episodes, and if you like the episode, please share.
Yes,
I'm watching.
She is.
We need those listens to increase, guys. Please, trying to retire early.
Catch us on SoundCloud every Friday, and there's an episode posted. Search for us, The Annex. You can also find us on Instagram at The Annex PC. Also, our email address is theannexpc@gmail.com, and our Twitter is The Annex 14.
Yeah.
Yeah, The Annex the numbers 14. Okay, so you can always check for us on those different media outlets and comment. We'll comment back. We'll like it. We'll do something, you know, and we'll even mention you on the show. Someone did actually make a comment, but we'll do it for the next show when we're back to our regular routine. All right, so we will shout you out on the next show.
And we have loads of scaffolds and memos.
Oh, we got a whole lot of scaffolds and memos.
We got a whole binder.
Let me tell you, we got something for you. All right, so I am going to thank Elle, one of our great, wonderful special guests and listeners of the show. We want to thank you once again for coming on and, you know, blessing us with your knowledge and expertise.
Yes, very
and
blessed.
You know, you are one of our favorite Annex fam members, so you are always welcome back whenever you want to come back.
Thank you guys so much for having me. Continue to be authentically you.
Aw, she likes that. So I am one of your lovely hostesses, Luna.
And I am Terry.
And this is the Annex. Thank you for listening. Bye, friends.
Bye.